You're listening to a DM podcast.
Welcome to Over the Back Fence. I'm Di Edwards.
I'm Nicola Dale, and we're buddies of nearly 4 decades. And yes, we actually do happen to share a back fence.
We do. We love parties, people, inspirational stories, and honestly, making the most out of life.
So join us as we open our hearts, share our stories, and hear from some of the most inspirational people in the world, and have a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Hi, Didi.
I'm only laughing because our next guest, Tina Nettlefold,
Who is amazing.
She's mind-blowing, and because as she's walked into the studio today, we've been talking to her, and honestly, she came up with the most amazing conversation, and our producer said keep it rolling, so we actually haven't introduced her.
No, so everybody, we'd like to introduce Tina Nettlefold, who is the most dynamic lady. You know, I love it how she talks about her marriages, Third Time Lucky, and what she does with her charities, like Tea House.
She's literally a full-time philanthropist, and she started Tea House to give back to the community, give back to all of us. And I think she's going to be, you'll just love her. She's such an inspiration.
She certainly is. So we'll hear it all from her words. Welcome, Tina.
Welcome, Tina.
Basically,
I went down for work. Wow.
I moved down for work and for a man.
Oh, hello.
As you do.
I got dumped 6 weeks before the wedding.
Why?
Oh my God! So did you have everything all prepared for the wedding?
I had the
like
wedding
a Greek
dress,
like
the invites.
How
everything
did that
was
make
paid
you
for.
feel? Like 6 weeks
Making
before
me
the wedding.
sad.
I mean, I can't imagine what that would be like.
Well, as a
How old were you?
29.
Oh,
And
you
this was
you weren't a kid then either.
and this was my second marriage. And so, it was a bit hard to take. But the reality was I got over it very quickly.
Wow.
I'll be really honest. Purely because I then found out he actually did me a favour because I found out he was cheating for a very long time.
Great.
So,
Yes. Big favour.
But very, very dramatic way of finding out. And, and so when he actually told me that he didn't want to marry me anymore and wasn't really in love with me.
How awful, though. I mean, it did you a favour, but it's
I wish he'd done it
thing.
I did it before all the...
Did you get a refund on the dress?
Well, no. The dress I actually threw over the balcony along with his clothes. And then decided to go and pour a can of paint all over it. As well as going to the local hardware store and buying an axe and axing down the door of his office to find out what he was hiding in there.
Nothing like
Tina,
a woman with revenge.
I love this.
This is unbelievable.
Wow.
Well,
a lot
that's
of women think about it, but don't actually
No.
act
Yeah,
on
I
it.
wasn't, it was just like, are you kidding me? I was a woman scorned, like I didn't know
yeah, of
why.
course,
And
yeah.
the only reason I was given was he wasn't in love with me
But
anymore.
why? You sort of wonder, why did he want to get married in the first place? You
I
know,
don't
like
know.
that when
They
you
just
know
go
when you
down
sort of
that
and
caught up in
moved
it.
me from Sydney to Melbourne.
yes,
okay.
That's what I mean.
And-
It's a huge thing.
And I had a massive career in Sydney.
You didn't work with them or anything?
No, I was an advertising agency. He's a lawyer.
Do you ever see him?
Oh, God, no. But
Yeah.
if you want to hear
No,
really...
I say head for the hills.
No, if you want to hear a really funny story, 6 degrees of separation, like my first husband and him were on a plane seated together going to London.
You got to
No
be kidding
way.
me.
I'm not kidding.
And the topic
did they
of
join
Tina
the
come
dots?
in conversation?
It somehow came up.
Wow,
And my
funny
first
that.
husband, who I'm still friendly with and still have a communication with, when he got back from London, actually said, you wouldn't believe who I was sitting next to.
Well, and I'm sure he would have been your biggest ally too.
Well, he was.
You know,
we
like-
had an amicable split. I got
Yes.
married very young at 21, came from Greek family.
Yeah.
It was a
Off
little
you go,
bit
darling.
of a,
Go and breathe.
Yes,
you know, a
yes.
little bit of a push. No boyfriend for you, must marry, no boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, boyfriend not good. You must get married. So it was at 21. What did I really
My
know?
big fat
you
Greek
didn't
wedding.
expect
Definitely-
it. And was it like a
definitely.
big fat Greek wedding?
Oh, yes, the 200
wow.
people.
How brilliant,
200.
how brilliant.
Had the money pinned on the dress and
Wow.
all that sort of stuff. And didn't marry a Greek boy, married an Aussie boy.
Oh,
but
okay.
A
So
beautiful
so tell
man.
me, coming back to the flight, it's the juiciest of juicy.
I was already
seats in the
exactly.
plane.
by that stage.
Conversation.
I was already remarried, and I had my twins. And so here I get this phone call. Well, I got a message first through social media going, "I need to chat to you," and I've gone, "Oh, okay." hoping he's okay. I thought it might be his
Yes.
mum or his dad because
Yeah.
we
of
broke
course.
up very amicably. And could you imagine? He goes, well, I just had a trip to London and guess who sat next to me? And I've gone, you. I go,
What did he say? What did your ex
Yes.
say to your first ex?
Well, apparently they had some lovely conversations about what a wonderful person
Oh,
I am.
hello. Well, a bit of
That's
diplomacy,
nice.
a bit of what
Bit
do
of
we call it?
diplomacy.
Fuselage.
Yes.
Diplomacy.
That's
But
when a fly on the wall.
I
That's when
wish
you
I
really
wish
want
I
to be
was.
there, isn't
I
it,
wish I
really?
was there. I wish he didn't
Yes.
give me a lot of details other than he
I'm
said
sure.
he spoke very highly of you. He said, well, he should have because you
She
know.
knows how to choose a really good paint colour.
Yeah, so, you know, and but he did actually say, why did you ever pick him? I could never have imagined you with him.
Did he have narcissistic traits, I'm guessing? You know,
I
like,
didn't-
you know, that
it's
you
funny.
could...
When you're
Wow.
in it, you're in it.
Yeah.
You don't
And you're
really
blind,
see
don't
it. And
you?
I was blinded by it. And my girlfriend saw it, but nobody spoke up.
No.
I actually got over that relationship probably a lot faster than he would have liked.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I actually did axe the door down, well, not axe the door, just broke the handle and got into the office and then found that he had a filing cabinet that it was permanently locked. So I thought, why is this permanently locked in a home office? And decided to get the axe. And it was one of those ones where
brilliant.
it just needed the key to be, so I just went crazy on the axe. By this stage, I've got like steam coming out of me.
Oh, it's
You know,
everything.
it was the day
Humiliating.
after I was
It was
told he'd
The
walked
animal
out.
instinct comes
yeah,
out, literally.
fury.
And went through and it was just all work files and got down to the bottom. Well, wasn't that fun?
Oh, it was sealed for a reason.
That even got
Oh
juicy.
my gosh,
boy.
this guy was very narcissistic because he had videos of him and these two women he was having affairs with. Porno movies, basically. Love letters from these women, like you would not believe.
yeah.
Photos, the whole works. And I went, was I living under a bloody rock or what?
Thank goodness
Well, you would have
didn't
learned
get married.
a lot from that, one would hope.
Oh, I did.
Because the statement of "was I living under a rock"
I was.
is very powerful to acknowledge that. But how did that affect you, though? Ultimately, did
I
you
think
learn from that?
I
Did you
learned-
come out from under the rock?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I went,
And you woke up.
why am I crying over this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Yeah.
He helped you.
Yeah.
who in fact did me a massive favour because this would have carried on into a marriage, I'm
Exactly.
sure, because obviously if he's got these tendencies before when you're engaged and it's supposed to be the love bubble.
This is the honeymoon period.
This is the
you
honeymoon
know?
period.
Wow.
And it's funny because I'm one of these people that once I go, right, done, dusted.
Yep.
I made one phone call to my boss. I had a very big career. I was more than anything.
You're in advertising, right?
I was,
Yeah.
yes. And I was a media director at the time of a very large advertising agency.
huge.
So I was one of the first females to actually break that ceiling.
Go you.
So,
Good to
you know,
know.
is this woman holding this big job, getting this great money, and I was like, are you kidding me? What an idiot.
But they
so
have
I beat
clever
myself up a little
facades, yeah,
bit. But
yeah.
the reality was I made a phone call, said, I need a break. I need to get out of here. And I just took myself off to, of all places, Club Med in Phuket. And
Love it.
all
Go
I
Club
can
Med.
say is I had a ball.
I was engaged to a guy when I was living in San Francisco, and where did I go? I went to Club Med in Martinique.
There you
Yeah,
go.
went to the travel agent and went, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta get out, can't breathe.
Because you're
Yeah.
engaged too,
Yep.
aren't you?
And that's
Dottie?
another story. So I go to Martinique and ended up, the chef de village ended up saying, please stay for 6 months and work. And I said, can I do? I can't do any of this. I was singing in the band, I was teaching aerobics, I was teaching windsurfing, I was yahooing in the stage at night, you know. So nothing
And
like
met lots
Club
of
Med
lovely
to
young
solve
men
the
too,
problem.
didn't you, Dodie?
Best.
Exactly this
The old Phuket or Martinique.
You know, and I'm one of these people like, hello, it's out of my system. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Came back,
Good.
looked $1 million, suntanned, relaxed, happy. I got a bit of the run, so I lost weight. Fabulous. So I got back to work, and everyone goes, you look amazing.
Yay. Let's come back to your beautiful husband. How long have you
Yes.
been married for?
So I've been married now 33 3 years.
Oh, my
Congratulations.
goodness. Wow.
That is so it's
And we
like
only
third
met-
time lucky, really,
met
isn't
Three,
it?
try before you buy. I love that.
Met him 3 months later. The poor man was like a
Wow.
dog on heat. And, I didn't treat him very well. I was like, just
See,
not
treat him
interested.
mean, keep him kind.
I was not nice. I was
Wow.
like, really, he'd be calling and I'd be going to my secretary, oh, no, I'm busy. I've got work to do. Tell him to wait, But
Wow.
he would ring back,
But you have
send
been
flowers.
authentic. This is your truth. You
Yeah.
learned a lot since coming out from under the rock,
And I can
right?
Basically,
hardly
yeah.
imagine you really wanting to step into a relationship too when you're
No,
6 weeks from
far
get about
from
to
it.
sort of like
That's
tie the
actually
knot.
a very good
Not
point.
But you'd sort of be
interested.
thinking, this is
Yeah.
not my space for
No.
a period
No.
of time.
Like you'd think a year or something, get my
Wouldn't you?
shit together.
Yeah,
but
and I
wow.
actually had said to my girlfriends, I'm concentrating on my career. It's all I want. I'm not interested in men. 3 months later, this man walks in, just dating him, thinking, oh, this is just a bit of dalliance, a bit of fun, whatever. But really, he then went away after 3 months, and the gorgeous man for 2 weeks sent me a gift every single day.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
That's a keeper.
Every day. And I presume, does he still do that?
Every
Gifts in
day.
little ways
He's
now.
still he's
No,
still a
he is
gift
a
giver.
giver.
What a gift.
He's
Yeah.
a gift giver.
His language of love.
Absolutely.
So we have to ask the Nicola question. I love Nicola when she says it about marriage. What's the secret? Is that what
What's
I love
the-
when you ask that?
Yeah, I do. I
with,
actually
with guests.
I do.
She
30
gets down into the
But I do want
the
to
depth
know,
of it.
Tina,
It's
because
beautiful.
you've been married, 32, 33 years
Yes,
now.
yes.
What is your secret? To
Yeah.
the
Well,
listeners
Funny
out there,
enough,
really?
here you go. Like really, I met someone 3 months after I'd been dumped, and within 12 months we were married.
Great.
12 months. So could you imagine? There were bets apparently at the front aisle of the wedding going, how long do you reckon this is going to last?
Yeah,
Which is not very nice.
no.
The huge difference was, yes, of course, I had my eyes wide open. I analysed this man front to back and made sure, is this the one? And I just actually ended up forgetting all the things that happened to me, shut that door, put it away and said, I'm going forward with an open heart.
You surrendered.
I surrendered to
Going
it.
Go.
forward with an open heart.
We love
that
How
one.
beautiful.
Write that one down.
Yeah, that's I love
Yeah.
that. It's like a little Latina quote there. Open heart.
Absolutely. And by doing that, I allowed him then to show me his true self, and I ended up showing my true self. We're actually friends, which is really important. I think that makes
I
a
believe
huge
so.
difference. And I knew that when he took me away for the first time, because he goes, oh, do you play backgammon? Yes, I do. I'm Greek, of course I play backgammon. And then it was like we would play games together, and it wasn't
That's
just
healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's how you get to know, is this person competitive against me? I also wanted to make sure that if I was going to go forward, I was going to be marrying my best friend.
How did he propose to you? I reckon I want to hear this one.
Okay, so we
Was it on the
went,
billboard?
Well,
Really?
Yes. It's actually about pre-2019.
Imagine all the girls writing this
We'd
down.
had a big blue because my husband was travelling all the time. We were disconnected and he was trying to reconnect us. We went to the $1 Million Luncheon where you raise money for the Children's Hospital. It was at the Crown. Across the road, Barclay has a QMS billboard. And he timed it that when we finished the function, everyone went upstairs where they were having drinks. And he timed it and he had,
I'm floored.
I love you, Bubba, which is what his nickname is to me. And then he had my photo go up.
Oh, and that
look
was
at
just
your
it.
face.
No propose, just I love you.
No, this is only a few years ago. This is 2019.
I don't, can you put my jaw back? Nicola,
Yeah.
push it back.
And it was
this is
his
music
way.
to our
Sorry.
ears.
This
Love
is
it at
his
the
way
age
of
and its stage. It's
reconnecting
beautiful.
our
Are you
love.
kidding me? I've never heard. I mean, we talk to a lot of people. I've known her for 40 years. We love people. We've talked to a lot of people. I've never heard anything like this in a relationship.
Come on,
Yeah.
other Sydney men or
But
Aussie men or
seriously,
men around the world
No,
here.
this is
Learn some lessons from
remarkable.
this. This is
But, we were
beautiful.
disconnected and he wanted to find a way to reconnect us. And I was a bit peeved off at
that'd
him and he was
work.
peeved off at me. And
Yes,
he
yeah.
thought, I'm going to make an effort. This is what I'm going to do.
And his way of building a bridge
Yeah,
is
building
doing
a
something
bloody-
like that.
Yeah.
Billboard.
I
That's
know.
just.
And you imagine
remarkable.
everyone's come up,
No.
all our friends are there, and they're going,
All the women
look, you're
wanted
on a
to kill
billboard.
her. Like, how dare you?
And all the women are like, oh, and all the men are like, we hate you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I've learnt, this being my number 3, the grass is never greener.
Yes.
It's just the...
Good tip as well. Grass
You
is
know,
never greener.
it's
is it?
never
Sometimes
greener.
they think it is. You
A
know?
lot of young people do.
lot
They
of
give
times,
up on
yes.
a lot of
Sadly.
relationships.
Yeah, these days too soon.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of just building on the fact that what was it that we actually had together and taking us back to where we were in the early days. You know, we have fun, we laugh together.
So let's go back and find that again.
Let's
sort of
find
thing.
that again,
Acknowledgement.
reignite. And it's really difficult after 30 years of marriage to reignite that passion.
Yes.
And I find a lot of people, they become mates, but it's almost like a brother and sister relationship.
Yeah, that's very
but
true.
I still want that chemistry.
Yeah.
I still want
Yes.
that hug.
You
the
got the
kiss.
Greek in you, baby, running through
I
your
want
veins.
the hold the hand, and from holding
Totally.
the hand, it goes to kissing each other,
Yeah.
and then it goes to kissing on the neck, and then it leads to other things.
Yeah.
It's my favourite
I
thing,
think that's
kissing on the neck.
beautiful because
why.
it keeps I think the romance alive. I think at any age and keeps
Yeah.
you feeling alive. You know, it's not like you have to have the romance or it all happening like you were when
No.
you're 20.
No.
But just those things of the touch or kindness or together holding a hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Says a lot, doesn't
It's
it?
a
You've got each
connection that
other.
you have each other and that you've got each other's back. And the reality is life gets in the way.
Yes.
The hardest times I found in a marriage was when my kids were really busy at school.
Now, how many
Yes,
kids have you got,
I've
Tina?
3 beautiful boys.
Three, what
Twins,
ages?
29 are my twins and
the
26. And they kept me very busy. They were private school boys.
Yeah.
That meant that they were always at, sporting events. My boys were elite swimmers, which meant 4:30 morning
Oh no,
wake-ups.
you'd be the committed mum like I was. My boys are
was.
rowing.
Yeah.
So same thing. So we're going to go into you leaving the corporate world behind you.
Well,
what was the turning point for that?
Well, the thing was, into my career, I mean, I was touted for big things.
We're
Said,
not
"Oh,
surprised, are we?
Yeah.
You know, would you
At
go?
all.
Would you go to New York for 6 months and go and train there and then come back? And I was like, oh, of course. But then I got engaged and I got married, and my husband then turns around and goes, "Darling, do you want to take a chance? Do you want to go be an expat for a while? I want to go and open a business in Malaysia." And I was like, "Oh my lord!"
Wow, that's a huge call.
And Malaysia too,
Yeah.
which probably
And
wasn't
the way
easiest
he
place.
the way he
Yes.
put it to me was, "I'm sure you can get a job anywhere," which is true. And we took a gamble. We went for a visit, and I just went, "Can you do it?" By this stage, of
Yeah.
course, I am 30 years old, and I'm going, I want babies. Do I want a career? Do I want babies? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
Can I have both?
Well, you're in an enviable position to be able to say, career no, children yes. My husband's got a great career. We can do this.
Yeah. So I jumped
true.
on the wagon. We sold our house.
Jumped on the wagon.
That's a big thing.
We had already
yeah.
bought a house. We sold our cars. We took everything. We invested. We went overseas. All our friends said, "You're cuckoo.
Wow.
You've got a great job. He's got a great job." Really, compared to a lot of our friends, we were way ahead. And we went, "No, we're going to take a gamble. We're going to take this chance and go." So we went over there. 18 months in, lost it all.
Wow.
Oh, Tina. Whoa.
Now, this is great to hear this.
It is because you're a
Yeah.
risk taker. I was thinking for
Yeah.
you doing that, I really applaud you because a lot of people will stay safe and go, what happens if I do lose it all? So what happened?
So we went over there. My husband went over and started a business with a
And that
Malay
failed.
Chinese
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And, well, it didn't fail. It
just
succeeded. But what
got
happened was...
something happened, yeah.
Into the play, what happened was our Chinese Malay partners saw, my husband taught them how to put these big billboards up. It's still the major billboard in the middle of Kuala Lumpur,
And
which is wrapped around the
went off
building,
and
is
ran
my
with it.
husband.
Wow, yes.
He
I used to fly there with the
did something
airlines.
quite criminal. And got us blacklisted, and we were basically asked to leave the country.
Wow.
No, I wasn't. I had my own visa
Right.
through the institute, but my husband was, basically he paid off the police and the government, and he got told he had to leave the country, so to
I
leave
think this is a
everything
movie,
behind.
don't you?
I
really,
feel
I'm
like
starting to
I'm
get,
like
go
watching,
now.
Yeah, can
the
you
movie
can
of
you pass
Tina-
some
yes,
Maltesers,
exactly.
please?
That's right,
Some popcorn.
exactly.
It's a bit
Actually,
like
shine
that.
pine
Choc choc.
with Tina Weiner. I think it's a big issue that you're very comfortable financially. And you've experienced losing it all. And I think
Absolutely.
that that's a great gift in a weirdo way to actually go, okay, this is what it's like to struggle, like to not be financially sound, and then, of course, build it up again because it's character building, isn't it?
Totally. And to stay together, because I can
Well,
only imagine
good point.
the stresses.
Yeah.
It's hard enough, when things are going perfectly in a foreign country, in your own country, let alone when that happens. I mean, how did that How did you do that?
That was hard. I mean, my husband stood there in front of that billboard. I remember the day that when we packed everything up, we had to leave the next day. And we stood in front of this massive billboard that he built and this company that he'd actually in 18 months had done so much work. And I stood there and he was crying and I went, do you know what, darling? See that? You did that.
Yeah.
Just remember that. That's yours and that's going to be up there forever. So if you can do this now in 18 months, imagine what you can build from this lesson.
Oh, you're a motivator.
So I had to be his
Love
rock.
lift us up where we belong.
Oh, and it
like
changed.
that.
I love
La, la,
singing.
la,
You were singing
la,
too?
la.
No, I love
Johnny
this,
loves
but
to
I
sing
cannot
along.
sing.
I have a microphone in my handbag.
So
Makes me feel
we
good.
packed our
Wow.
bags.
Yeah.
I came back to Australia, but my husband moved then straight away to Indonesia. And
no stopping him.
Yeah.
We said no. This is not going to hold us back. I came home for a little while, went back to Indonesia. He set up another business with Tommy Sahato. Everybody knows
Yeah,
who he
of
is.
course.
Before he went to jail, this was
Yeah, I
way
was just
before
thinking
that.
of the Hardo family.
So they saw what Barclay did in Malaysia. They loved it. They said they want to start the same thing in Jakarta. Huge billboards. And I just went across. I got a job straight away with McCann Erickson's. Was their media director in no time. And we lived off my salary for 2 years until I
Tina.
basically
Incredible.
fell pregnant with my twin.
How was motherhood?
I was lucky enough too because I was living, I'll be really honest, I lived in Asia. So I had nannies.
I was going to say all
Right,
the
chefs,
help.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
the
expat
whole
life.
I had the
Yes,
expat
exactly.
life.
Yeah.
And
Which
we
is
were
great.
we were
Asia,
in
you're right.
Jakarta at the best, the pinnacle of when expat life was magic.
Yeah.
It's not so great now, but there was money to be made. It was unbelievable. It took 2 years for my husband to get established, but after that, it just grew.
You guys were
It
rolling.
just- We were there for 10 years, but after 10 years...
10 years you were there?
10 years.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a long
You
time.
know,
So you
the
had
kids
just-
were
isn't
much
it?
older than I thought.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
10
Right.
years.
Wow,
but
Tina.
I had to make a decision. Well, there was something that tragically that happened, unfortunately. My brother came across to come for a holiday. And unfortunately, during that time, my brother passed away in our arms.
Oh,
So he had a
Tina,
massive
I'm so
heart
sorry.
attack
Oh,
at 35.
No. Oh, gosh, that's-
35.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was with you at that
Yes.
time.
That's
Oh, my God.
amazing.
That's so sad, and
Wow.
it's nearly—I don't want to say like a gift,
No.
but he was with you.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, oh God,
Yeah.
what was your
Yeah.
brother's name?
Arthur.
Oh, I love
Bless
that
you,
name,
Arthur.
Yeah. That was what brought me home. I needed to be close to family.
I get that.
I needed to come back. And I also realised my children needed to develop some friendships.
Tell us about Tea House. Tell us how that came
Absolutely.
about.
Yes.
Tea House came about because after being a stay-at-home mum, I actually reinvented myself in my 50s and decided no more advertising. I'm going to be a stylist. That all came about because I have a home in Bali. I was renovating it. I was bringing things back. People were saying you should do more of this, started designing, doing stuff. And all of a sudden I fell into the world of interior styling and decorating.
Love it.
And design. So that sort of came about. 2020 hit.
Oh, hello.
Well, hello.
Why do we all remember
I know,
that?
We do.
2020. I decided I was in the middle of doing this woman's house that I didn't enjoy doing at all. We got into bloody lockdown in Melbourne and I had to try and get her furniture there and I said, I can't come and set it all up for you. We're in lockdown. You are past my 5 kilometres. I'm not risking it. I'm not doing this again. I think I'm just going to retire. I'm
Great.
60. Don't forget in 2019 we went through bushfires in Victoria.
That's right.
Really
They're
bad
awful.
ones.
Yes.
I got very heavily involved with trying to get food out to people and something clicked in me at that time. And
Interesting.
in 2020, I went, I don't want to, I'm retiring from interior styling,
Yeah.
but I'm not retiring from life.
Oh, I like that quote.
Which is what a lot of
Bingo.
people say, I'm retiring.
And because bear in mind, guys, her age too, a lot of women, Nicola and I, that's one of the reasons we started the podcast too, inspiration. This is a new beginning, such like. And
Absolutely.
And this is your day of the reckoning.
Yeah.
So what happened?
so
from
I
that
just
moment?
thought, I really want to do something.
Helping people
I
in the
need-
bushfires,
Yeah.
did that feel good?
It felt amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
So that drove you to start Tea House.
But I've always done charity work. Always.
Yeah.
Yes,
Even
yeah,
at school,
yeah.
always done charity
Yeah.
work. And it's always felt good.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, what can I do moving forward? I want to have a purpose.
For the listeners that have no idea what it is, can you explain what Tea House is?
Absolutely. So what it did was I thought, what am I good at?
Yeah.
I'm really good at designing product. What about if I made a homewares range?
As you do.
As you do.
Why not? And then I saw, as 2020 came along, all these amazing artists that were closing shop. I saw people who were ceramicists, who were glass blowers, who had little businesses because no one was travelling into the country. They had to close their stores. Artists were struggling because they weren't able to sell their art and they weren't able to do that. And I went, what if I made a homewares range that used Australian artists? Turned around and I said to my husband, how would you feel if I did this but I gave all my profits away?
And he went, what are you on?
Yeah.
And he said, how are you going to fund it? I said, from the money I made from my interior design work.
Wow.
And he said, I thought that was going to be your little nest
Nest
egg
egg.
of fun. He says, you're crazy. You better go and speak to a bank manager and you better go speak to our accountant.
So can you just
So
repeat
that's how
that
Tea
for
House
everyone
happened.
listening? I just need a quick. You said to your husband, "I want to start a business.
Yep.
That's homewares." And
That gives all the
and gives
profits away.
all the profit away. So for everyone listening, try and get a grip on that one. I think most people just go, "Yeah, sure. I'll speak to you later tonight."
Yes,
Have a rethink
exactly.
about that one.
Most people will
Yeah.
give,
Yeah.
a lot of companies now do what's called good company ethics, which is they'll give some money away.
Yes, I love it when you
like you're
buy
sort of saying the
airline
thing,
ticket
like
and
in
things.
how's it
Yeah.
Coldplay from Chris Martin's mother when he was younger
Yes.
took 10% of his pocket money out,
Yeah.
and so he's forevermore from even when they first started 10%
Still
of all
doing
their
it.
wealth they still do it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
love
that's
And it
that.
makes
something
them
all the
feel
way
good.
through.
So
Makes it
for
feel
me,
good.
it was like, and a lot of people do that, and I believe in being a good company. So I believe in what's called the kindness community and kindness economy. And that is when
Oh, we
companies
love that.
do give back to charity. It's not all about greed. It's not all about whether it's environmental or whether it's community-based. So for me, it was like I need to find the 3 charities that really
That would have been
resonate.
difficult. Which
One
was the first
easy.
one?
Probably the Robert Conadors Foundation.
Which I don't know. Which
So it
is,
raises money for paediatric brain cancer. It was
Brilliant.
an easy one for me because our children went to school with Connor.
Great.
Who
So you personally
it was personally,
connected.
His mum is a dynamo, Liz Dawes. She started this foundation. Her son passed away while our children, and
so
so
that's
he
really
was
hard
only
to- yeah.
17. So we were always
His memory
involved.
lives on as
Yeah.
well. and
What was the
that's a
second
beautiful
charity?
thing.
The second one was easy because it was so simple.
Yeah.
It was to make sandwiches for children who go to school without lunch.
Oh,
I
and
love
it's
that
Eat
too.
Up
Really?
Australia. Eat
That's
Up
a great
in
Australia.
America they do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know, you go to a school in America, you get lunch.
do.
Well,
Funny
we
how it
don't
doesn't
get it
happen
here.
No, I know.
And there are
It's amazing.
at
I
the
know, it's
moment,
strange, yes.
it's one
It's
in
a great
8.
one.
One in
in
8
Oh.
children.
I wasn't aware of that.
Good on you,
Wow.
Tina. And the third one?
And the third one, of course, is one that touches my heart all the time. It's the Lighthouse Foundation, which deals with foster care
Yeah.
and also a homeless youth.
Brilliant.
But they do so much work also with young mums with bubs. Young girls that have been thrown out of home when they were pregnant, they got nowhere to go. They help them. They help the Indigenous community.
So can our listener go online, buy some
Exactly.
products?
How do we do
Absolutely.
it?
So the whole idea was we started designing these products.
Yeah.
Everything that we do has got a purpose. So, for example, the Lighthouse Foundation is all about home. So what we do is we make a beautiful pasta bowl set made by Batch & Co, Sydney company that also employs people who are disadvantaged.
Awesome.
We have platters for them. We have candles, all the things that are to do with home. Eat Up, we do a lunchbox for obviously because it's about making lunches for kids who go to school without lunch. And with Robert Conadors, it's all to do with, we call it the sense of senses. When you actually get brain cancer, you lose a lot of your memory. So smell is a trigger.
Yes.
So we make an amazing, it's our number one
How
seller. It's a
beautiful.
room
Amazing.
spray.
I didn't realise that these were
Beautiful.
actually designed for
For
each charity. I
Absolutely.
didn't know this.
And-
Yeah.
And then tell us, so have you now raised money and you've given
Yeah.
back
Yes,
already
absolutely.
in this time?
All
Like, tell us.
transparent on our page. You'll see
Yes.
exactly on each one of our
Congratulations.
charities.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
really
Give us an
is
example of
such a-
what you've raised. Just
at the moment,
just
I think
a very simple
altogether
example.
we've raised about $140,000.
Good girl.
Wow.
and
That's
it's
awesome.
Good
not,
on you, Tina.
not an easy thing to do.
No. A lot of people say it feels good when they give. And I was looking up
Giving
on
gathers,
Google
as
last
they
night.
say.
Why do people feel good when they give? So over 50 studies have already shown that giving has positive effects on happiness. Ultimately, you create a happier world for everyone. So they say there's so much for you when you give.
Yep.
And I think, Tina, today, I think it's a beautiful thing to sit there and share the story. Like, for everyone listening, it doesn't have to be money.
No.
At the end of the day, give your time.
Give your
Absolutely.
time.
You know?
And in fact, the gift of time is worth more. Even if you don't come onto our site and you buy from us, I always say, if you have got some time that you can spare these charities, they always need help. Time is one of the greatest gifts you can give anybody. We all know
that's so
that.
good to hear that, because
Yeah.
it's also saying that's tip off. We were saying, how do you feel happy? How do you get out of that flat spot? We all get there at certain times.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things too of sometimes do something for somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, I
and it
think
actually makes you feel good. You're
Unbelievable.
not doing it for that reason.
And yet a lot
but
of
it
people
is.
don't realise that.
No, they get stuck in everything's bad. Think
Oh,
of
I've got to do
someone
that for
else.
them. But change the mindset. And, I want to give this to somebody, not because it makes me feel good. It's just when you walk away, you do feel good.
And I just want to know also, Tina, with all this too, now you're 60, you're in your 60 years. And you had
63 now.
63.
Yay!
You celebrated in Greece, which
Yes,
was
I
just
did.
looked
Yes.
amazing. What are your tips, or what do
Yeah.
you view for women or men aging of, like, how do you feel?
Well, I'm a
being
big
60?
believer, and on my personal platform, I talk a lot about actually aging. Just remember, age is just a number, but it's really important that as we age, we still find purpose in our life. And the purpose could be a very simple one. It doesn't have to be work. It could be something that you actually look forward to in your life that you do. Whether you wake up and say, I'm going to plant a beautiful garden, and in that garden I might put some vegetables in that. And if I have an overflow, I'm going to give that to my neighbours. Or, that will make you
beautiful,
feel
isn't it?
amazing. You don't,
Yeah, my veggie pod.
my little veggie pot. Or it could
I
be
get so excited, don't you? Those eggplants.
I've got it. Oh, they're great though.
a simple thing.
Big and small.
That's the story of life, isn't it? You've got to be
But
cheeky at all ages.
Philanthropy
don't
to
you?
eggplants. That's
And
us.
I think finding your zest for life is really important, like you're just talking about,
Yeah.
like finding that. So it could be really simple things. You play golf, for example.
Yes, yeah.
Why not take on somebody like, okay, she looks like a lonely person, my neighbour. Would you like to come and play golf with me? Simple things like that give you a purpose every day to do something and wake up and have something. I think aging for me is about actually still growing. Don't shut the doors.
Oh, I
Don't
love
shut your
that
heart
too.
and don't
What
shut
was-
the
don't
door.
shut
What
your
was
heart.
it's never too late to do something that you love.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Never
See, a
too
lot
late.
of people tend
Never.
to go, I'm in my 60s, it's too late.
Too late.
No,
No.
look
Gosh,
at
you set
Tina,
your stride.
guys.
There's so many examples
Like, she could
now.
sit back and play golf and go to lunch every
I
day. She
could.
could.
I
But
could.
she chose not to. She's got a
No.
brain like we all have, we're all born with. It's sitting on our shoulders.
Do you know how much more we know than our younger selves?
I know. That's
with,
true,
with,
isn't it?
with age comes wisdom, sweetie.
Every single person that you meet has got a story.
Yeah.
And every person has learnt a lesson from their story in life. Why not give that back?
I bet your boys are proud of you with your philanthropy.
They must be proud.
My boys
Yeah.
are just, I wouldn't have done this without their support or my husband's support. My husband's been incredible. I think it's important to set a good example for not only them, but also for your community as well.
Yeah,
to
true.
kind of say
Absolutely.
to everyone that
Start your grassroots.
you don't need, yes, okay, I have the advantage that I have worked and I've used my money to make this work. Not everyone can do what I can do.
Yeah.
But everyone, kindness is free.
Kindness is free, and that's beautiful. And you're doing
So
it with an
true.
open heart. And, Tina, you're just a joy.
Yeah,
Well, we've got
yeah,
some
you are.
signature
Yeah.
questions
Yes, we
to
do.
ask you.
Oh.
Did you want to start diving
Sure.
into
Absolutely.
day?
Oh, which
Way we go.
You
Do
choose.
you know what? I'm intrigued to see where she takes this one,
Okay.
particularly after this interview. If you had an opportunity of going the back funds,
Yes.
and you could choose from somebody living, dead, anybody in the world, no matter who they are, who would that be?
To share that.
Well,
backfence
probably
with-
on the left-hand side, I would have Betty White.
I
And,
love her. She's
And
a
on the
hoot.
right-hand side, I'd have Hillary Clinton.
Oh, wow.
that's wild.
Go girl.
Wow.
How
God,
interesting.
That'd be
I think we're
remarkable.
gonna come down to that
no,
back
we're
fence. What do
hanging
you
off
think,
the
don't you?
branch for that
Exactly.
one, for sure.
I
Yes.
love that. That's come
President.
out. I don't think anyone's ever said
Next
that
question.
before. So, Tina, what would you say to your 20-year-old self? You could go back.
Gosh,
in
I would
time.
probably say, live in the moment more, girl. I was always in such a hurry to get so much more out of life. Live in the moment. I have learnt that now. I am now more present.
Right, I was
Everything
gonna
I
say.
do, I am here and I like to absorb everything that's going on around me. I didn't do that in my 20s.
So you were out there moving forward as opposed to...
Always planning. I still plan.
Yeah, planning's good.
But I was constantly like...
You've got tears in your eyes. It's beautiful. I can see how you're moved by that. And
I wish I did. I wish I celebrated more.
So what do you mean by celebrate?
My wins. I never really celebrated my wins.
Interesting. Why? Because you're expecting another or?
And it was never enough.
Wow.
Love that.
Okay.
Isn't that beautiful?
Thank you. We've got to the core of it right.
That's great. And that's
enough.
that's a beautiful thing
Interesting.
to acknowledge.
Hence
that.
the
And
drive.
That's come with age,
Yes.
hasn't it?
I had a bit of that too.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that I can empathise with.
Well, they say stop and breathe. And sometimes
Yes.
when you stop and you
Yeah.
just sit within yourself, is that time of that little bit of self-reflection too. And then you can go, wow, actually, that was pretty good.
So
what
true.
I did. I'd just like to ask another question too, if I may be naughty. But you are pretty much a world traveller.
Yes.
What is just
definitely.
some tips as we age for travelling?
I think when you travel as you age, well, firstly, keep fit.
Like
It's
that.
really
Keep
important.
fit.
Keep
Yep.
fit. Because when you do travel, I don't want to be. I just did a cruise, and some of those people did not even get off the boat. Like, I mean, come on. I'm going to climb. Yeah, I want to go see that castle. I don't care if there's 1,000 steps. And I've got a bung knee. I did it. It's like, keep fit. Be curious. When you travel, just try and be present in the moment. And please don't go to McDonald's for lunch.
Yeah.
If you're in Italy,
I love that.
please go and eat the local food and just go and really immerse yourself in it, because you've got to do it now while you can, because when you get to 80, well, maybe then I do a river cruise down the French.
I'll join you on that one. I think
absolutely.
And
Maybe you know what,
No.
Tina, it's been pure joy.
Absolutely
Pure joy having you here today.
Oh, thank you.
In more
for
ways
having
than
You
me.
one.
really are. Talk
Yeah.
about, we love
Yeah.
inspiration. You're
Yeah.
the queen of it.
I think
really.
you're a
You
really great
are.
storyteller.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll look for both Nick and I really look forward to
Yeah,
the
so
book.
thank you so much for joining us,
In a huge
Tina.
way.
We
Thank
really
you.
mean that coming from Melbourne.
Yeah,
for
and
back
everyone
fans.
have a peek at Tea House.
Yeah, we've
Please
Great
do.
intention,
Please
great
do.
direction.
We are
and,
the only luxury homewares
well
brand.
done.
Yeah,
Aussie
thank you.
made.
No, congratulations.
Thank
How do we say goodbye in Greek? I
Yes.
used to.
You can say yasas.
I like
Yes.
yes.
Kalimera είμαστε
Yes,
ακόμα.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Ciao. Well, Monday's coming around again.
Yay, we always love a Monday. But everyone, thank you for listening. And don't forget to rate and review. And how many stars, Didi, would we like?
I think the max is 5, so let's go for 10 or 15 or 20 or 25, whatever takes your fancy.
I agree. Let's all reach for the stars. And it means a lot, and it means a lot
Yeah.
for us that you're listening, and we really
Yeah,
appreciate it. And if you
very
can
much
share
so.
to a friend, that's just how community grows.
And don't forget to follow us too. It's a little tag at the top.
There's 3 little dots.
Yep,
Just press
just
those.
click it. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Join the
Look
tribe.
forward to chatting with you soon. Ciao.